Phil Jackson, who's won 10 titles as a coach, addressed the media.
In the third quarter, and it was a struggle for us to get ourselves back into that ball game. We came back at the end of the third and narrowed the margin, but sequences of plays, turnovers, a couple turnovers by Kobe, and runouts, created that 10-point gap at the end in which we had to really struggle to get back in the game. Ron had an opportunity, and unusual situation. Fish elevated, beat Garnett to the ball on a tip, which is kind of unusual. And they weren't ready for the run out, but we couldn't make the play on that. Kobe struggled the first half. The second half, I thought, he was his dynamic self again and got us back and going.
First question right here, Mark.
Phil, the effort in the third period looked pretty ragged. I think the Celtics scored on 12 of their first 13 possessions. When they made it, they either made it or they rebounded it and made it. You guys didn't even seem to touch rebounds for about 6 minutes.
I agree.
Is there any way to account for that, or what were you saying?
Well, we called a timeout and got into their face a little bit about how we got ourselves on the wrong side of people and gave up layups. I know they were shooting a high percentage, but it gets that way when you shoot layups in this game.
Mark, towards the middle.
Generally, Phil, what do you attribute the defensive breakdowns to? It seemed like they seemed to be able to get what they wanted, especially in the first half.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, they scored 92 points. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll live with that, and we'll come back and play that game again, regardless of what they shot. That sequence in the start of the third quarter, didn't demoralize our guys. We kept back and came back and kept coming in the ball game. So, they had their run. We know they're going to have a run, and as I told the players before the game, this team's going to shoot well in one of these games. They haven't shot well yet on their home court, and so they're going to have a game that they shoot well. You just have to hang with them.
On the right side, Mike.
Phil, what was going on with Powell out there? He was 4 for 11 to the late putback. He seemed like he was getting a lot of shots blocked, too. What was happening to him tonight?
He didn't have a lot of opportunities in the first half. In the second half, looked like he broke away, went by Garnett, got to the front of the hoop, and he blocked it from behind. He had another one blocked. Until I see the edit, I can't make a comment on what happened out there. Whether he was, tentative or whether he, had good defensive plays made against him. I thought Garnett made a couple of good defensive plays.
Phil, you're so big on teamwork. How did you think about Kobe and
then kind of eliminating everybody else in the third quarter?
Well, he's the kind of guy you ride a hot hand, that's for sure. Certainly not.
So you have no problem with that?
Certainly, we were waiting for him to do that, and he came in at halftime, got his ankle retaped again, and went out there and found a rhythm on the game. Other than that, you look at the assists. We had 12, they had 21. That's a big differential in a game like this. It's a struggle.
Back left.
Phil, what's your mentality going into these 2 elimination games? You haven't had an elimination game in these playoffs. Over here. What do you tell the team? How much do you use Andrew Bynum? Kind of what's your mentality going into 6 and 7?
Well, if you look at it, they've come home and, carried the 3-2 lead back. It's basically home court. Now we're going back to home court. And it's the way it's supposed to be, I think, is it? Unfortunately, we couldn't get this win here, but we got the one that counted to bring us back home.
Front row.
Sorry I didn't answer your question on that, John, but that's about as good as I'll do.
Hey, Phil, you said earlier this week that Kobe has to play better in order for you guys to win. Over these past few games, do you think he's gotten better against the defense the Celtics have been kind of up in his chest?
Yeah, he was brimming with confidence in the second half. He felt like he had some things that, he felt comfortable doing, and, we found a way to do it. I thought he had good position in the first half. It just didn't look like he could get up and elevate and get the shots he wanted, and missed some easy shots for him.
Was his inability to elevate because of the ankle or because of the defense? Which one?
No, I thought he really. It was just a lack of getting up over on his shot, and he got his ankle retaped and came back and played well.
Pierce has been relatively quiet other than a quarter or two.
Yeah.
Today it was pretty consistent, 4 quarters, a lot of energy. Can you talk about the difficulty Pierce can give not just your team but any team?
Well, you know, Paul's a very deliberate ball player, and when he's, you know, comfortable out there, you know, he can be very difficult to guard. He's got a step back. He's got a, you know, a nice shot that he takes off the dribble. His post-up game is good. There's a lot of things he has as weapons out there. And you know, he had Ron, you know, guessing out there for much of the game. I thought Ron finally got a little bit of a defensive game against him in the fourth quarter. He's in foul trouble. You know, Luke came out and gave a hand at it, but you know, I thought Ron finally got a little feel for it, and you know, Paul missed a couple for us.
Standing back left.
Phil, as a coach, how do you go about dealing with the psychological equation of it being an elimination game with a team that's absolutely recently eliminated you? Like in terms of that part of it.
I don't know how recent that is. That's 2 years. I guess that's recent.
Fairly.
Fairly recent. Well, it doesn't feel like it, but no, I thought we had a spirited locker room at the end of our session there. You know, we felt like you know, we came away with a couple things that didn't happen for us. You know, an air ball shot that went their direction. You know, a run out at a segment where we tried to get a backcourt violation. You know, they had a couple things fall in their place, and we felt pretty good about our comeback and the way we played at the end of the game. You know, we come away with a play that could have been a three-point play, and we'd see what would happen, but we didn't get anything out of it. So we're upbeat about going into this game.
Last two in the